Good morning. So we're coming up to chapter 5, Practice Zero Negativity, in Harlow and Helen's book, How to Talk with Anybody About Anything. And it's the third piece of the safe conversation process. It's a commitment to practice zero negativity. Now, the zero negativity piece came relatively late in the Imago system, the theory. I think the last 8 or 10 years, but I really do believe now that it's the fastest way forward for any couple, by extension, any relationship. So the authors state, we had discovered that any thriving relationship has to have one non-negotiable quality, safety. We've talked about that a lot. It's obvious that safety and negativity are incompatible. So therefore, we now give zero negativity the status of non-negotiable. If you want a great relationship, okay, remember we've said about safety, but safety and negativity are incompatible. So the two are non-negotiable. Zero negativity essentially involves eliminating put-downs, name-calling, eye rolls, or any other form of shame, blame, or criticism of anyone with whom you communicate each day. That's what we decided to do for each other, and we recommend it to everyone, everywhere. At work, at worship, at play, in the classrooms, the halls of Congress, all human ecosystems. But when you look around, there does seem to be a lot of negativity around, isn't there? But why? Well, their conclusion is that our brain has a negativity bias, and they're not alone in that. But think about it. For thousands of years, all humans lived in a pretty dangerous and volatile situation. So the safest response was, if anything happened, to everything was considered dangerous until proven otherwise. The twig snaps over there. You're on guard. Otherwise, you could be lunch. So we have this negativity bias, and as they go on to say, though, although we now have security systems, police, sheriffs, military, that default negativity bias is still in place. And we have to manage it all the time. So your problem with negativity is not your fault. It's just your brain trying to protect you. Like your old brain doesn't know the difference between, a twig snapping in the forest that could be a tiger, but there's no tigers around now, so it's probably not. Anyway, here's the key thing, though. Knowing all this does not excuse any of us for not looking for a better way. The best protection now is to use the safe conversation dialogue process to talk about your differences and collaborate on win-win solutions. And I always tell clients, a good rule of thumb for me is, if you feel defensive, good time to mirror. All right? If you feel defensive, rather than defend yourself, just mirror back what you heard. Okay, I heard you say that such and such and such and such. Is it right? Did I get you? So rule of thumb, if you feel defensive, good time to mirror. And the rest of the chapter offers guidelines for dealing with negativity when you feel targeted. And take the pledge. Taking a zero negativity pledge for 30 days encourages you to focus on treating others around you with a positive, hopeful, and gracious attitude. And then a number of things under countering negativity with zero negativity, with the zero negativity reconnecting process. And the first one is simply to say something. And their point is that don't assume that those who say negative things to you know you're upset. Some people are so consistently negative that they're not even aware of it. So let the negative person know that they've crossed your boundary with their negative comments. So the idea is to say something. Sometimes maybe we just have to remove ourselves from the situation, but sometimes it's important that we actually say something. That didn't work. Let's try it over again. And then the next piece is follow a reconnecting process that works for you. And they offer 5 examples of handling a negative interaction that has occurred, from asking to a do-over, to offering a way to reconnect, let's go for a coffee, to suggesting using the safe conversation process. And there's 5 of those in there. And then I think an important one is the idea of turning frustrations into request. And they give this example. Share your frustration as an objective experience, not as a criticism. The example, as your supervisor, I become frustrated when you don't respond promptly to my emails. This is just reporting a fact. It does not contain any reference to the person's character. And then suggest ways that the other person can alleviate your frustrations by offering solutions, shifting from a negative to a positive track and moving from conflict to connection. So for example, my only request is that you immediately acknowledge when you have received my emails. You don't have to stop doing what you're doing and find answers to my questions or resolve the issues in the email. Just let me know that it's on your to-do list. So again, the idea of shifting a frustration to a request, state your frustration as an objective experience, not as a criticism. And then the last thing they say is, and I would agree, laughter truly is the best medicine in many situations. If you can lighten things up, I know for me, I tend to go heavy, my wife tends to go light. Much better to go light. So, laughter truly is the best medicine in many situations. Anyway, next week, the fourth and last piece of the puzzle, the practice of affirmations. Great, thanks. Have a great week. Cheers.